Today, we need to have one of the most important conversations I've ever had on this channel about a daily habit that millions of men over 60 practice every single day without realizing it's quietly undermining their prostate health, disrupting their urinary function, and stealing their quality of life. This isn't about pointing fingers or making you feel bad. This is about giving you information that could change everything, information that the healthcare system often overlooks or simply doesn't communicate clearly enough to men your age. Because here's what I've learned after 12 years of working with senior men. When we understand which daily behaviors are actually working against our aging bodies, we don't just reduce uncomfortable symptoms. We restore dignity, we reclaim sleep, we avoid medications with devastating side effects and unnecessary procedures that could have been completely prevented. So if you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, and you've been dealing with increasingly frequent urination, especially at night, difficulty starting your stream, or that nagging feeling that your bladder never fully empties, this video might be the single most important thing you watch this year. Before we dive in, do me a favor, hit that like button right now and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and whether nighttime bathroom trips are affecting your life. I read every comment, and your experience matters. And if you're serious about taking control of your health naturally, subscribe and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what's coming. All right, let's get into it. The conversation I have constantly in my practice goes something like this. Dr. Nerita, I've been getting up 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a night to use the bathroom. My stream is weak. I feel like I can never fully empty my bladder. My doctor says it's just normal aging and wants to put me on medication, but I'm worried about side effects. I exercise. I eat pretty well. I even take my vitamins. Could there be something I'm doing every day that's actually causing these problems? Is there a specific behavior that's making my prostate and bladder health worse without me even realizing it? That's the desperate question I hear from frustrated men whose quality of life is being destroyed by urinary problems. Men whose doctors offered them pharmaceutical solutions without ever addressing the root cause. Men who thought they were doing everything right, only to discover they were unknowingly making things worse. And here's the truth. There is a daily habit practiced by an estimated 78% of men over 60 that's progressively damaging the prostate, weakening bladder function, and destroying urinary health. And almost no doctor discusses it honestly until serious problems have already developed. I want you to stay with me through this entire video because by the end, you'll have information that could save you from medications with serious side effects, unnecessary surgical procedures, permanent urinary dysfunction, and the profound loss of dignity that comes with progressive bladder control problems. So what is this daily habit that I see wreaking havoc on senior men's urological health every single week in my practice? It's this: drinking excessive fluids throughout the day based on the generic 8 glasses of water advice that's completely inappropriate for men over 60. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, Dr. Nerita, drinking water is supposed to be healthy. Everyone says we need to stay hydrated. How can this possibly be harmful? And you're right that advice dominates health media. It's repeated constantly. It sounds healthy and responsible. But here's what they're not telling you. What's appropriate for a 40-year-old man can be actively harmful for a 70-year-old man. The aging prostate, bladder, and urinary system require completely different protocols that conventional medicine rarely communicates to senior patients. And when you don't understand these differences, you end up following advice that's literally working against your body. Let me explain exactly why this habit is so damaging and what's really happening inside your body. The aging prostate undergoes natural enlargement, benign prostatic hyperplasia, in virtually all men over 60. This enlarged prostate physically compresses the urethra, making urination more difficult. That's just the reality of aging. At the same time, your bladder muscle loses tone and elasticity, reducing its capacity and efficiency. It's not as strong as it used to be. It can't hold as much. It doesn't empty as completely. Now, when you combine an enlarged prostate with a weakened bladder, and then you overload the entire system with excessive fluid intake throughout the day based on generic advice meant for younger men, you create a perfect storm of urological dysfunction. Here's what happens physiologically, and I want to break this down into the specific problems this creates. Problem number 1, bladder overwork and progressive weakness. When you drink excessive fluids based on that 8 glasses a day rule, your aging bladder must work overtime to process and store this volume. Unlike a younger bladder that can easily handle this workload, your aging bladder muscle becomes progressively weaker from constant overwork. Think of it like a tired muscle that never gets adequate rest. This creates a vicious cycle. The weaker your bladder becomes, the more frequently you need to urinate, which further exhausts the bladder muscle, causing even more weakness. Men who drink 8-10 glasses of water daily often find themselves urinating 12-15 times per day and waking 4 to 5 times at night. This progressively destroys sleep quality, energy levels, and overall health. You're not just dealing with an inconvenience, you're systematically weakening an already compromised system. Problem number 2, prostate irritation and inflammation. Excessive fluid intake forces your enlarged prostate to work harder as a control valve for urination. This constant irritation accelerates prostate inflammation, worsening your symptoms and potentially increasing the risk of prostate complications. Your prostate at 60, 70, 80 years old is already under stress from hormonal changes and natural enlargement. Adding the burden of processing excessive fluids creates chronic inflammation that makes everything worse. Weaker stream, difficulty starting urination, incomplete emptying, and that constant feeling of needing to go. Problem number 3, the nighttime urinary disaster. This is perhaps the most devastating consequence, and it's what brings most men into my office. Men over 60 who drink fluids liberally throughout the day, especially in the evening hours, experience what I call the nocturnal urinary cascade. You wake multiple times per night to urinate, which destroys your sleep quality, your testosterone production, your cognitive function, and even your cardiovascular health. The research here is clear and alarming. Men over 60 who wake 3 or more times nightly to urinate have a 67% increased risk of falls and injuries, a 54% higher risk of cardiovascular events, a 73% increased risk of cognitive decline, and dramatically reduced quality of life scores. Let that sink in. This isn't just about being inconvenienced. This is about your safety, your heart health, your brain function, and your ability to enjoy your life. Problem number 4, the medication dependency trap. Here's where it gets even more frustrating. When senior men develop urinary frequency and nighttime urination from excessive fluid intake, doctors typically prescribe medications, things like tamsulosin or finasteride. These medications have significant side effects: dizziness that increases your fall risk, changes in intimate function, and potential cognitive effects. And here's the tragedy. Many men could avoid these medications entirely by simply adjusting their fluid intake to appropriate levels for their aging urological system. Instead, they become dependent on medications that treat symptoms while the underlying cause, inappropriate fluid consumption, continues completely unaddressed. Let me give you a specific example that perfectly illustrates this problem. A 68-year-old patient came to my office completely exhausted because he was waking 5 to 6 times every night to use the bathroom. He was on 2 different prostate medications, had been evaluated for sleep apnea, and was actually considering surgical intervention for his prostate. His urologist had told him his prostate was moderately enlarged and that progressive symptoms were inevitable with age. He had resigned himself to a life of constant bathroom trips and broken sleep. But here's what nobody had asked him: how much water are you drinking? Turns out, he was drinking 10 to 12 glasses of water daily because his primary doctor had told him he was chronically dehydrated and needed to increase his fluid intake. I evaluated his actual hydration status through urine testing and found he was actually overhydrated. His body was desperately trying to eliminate excess fluid, causing the constant urination. His prostate wasn't the primary problem. His excessive fluid intake was overwhelming an aging urological system that simply couldn't handle that volume anymore. I implemented a specific fluid protocol designed for men over 60, strategic timing and quantity of fluid intake that maintains optimal hydration without overloading the system. Within 2 weeks, he was down to 1 to 2 nighttime awakenings. Within 6 weeks, he was sleeping through the night 4 to 5 nights per week. Within 3 months, we had eliminated one of his medications entirely. His quality of life transformation was extraordinary. His energy returned, his mental clarity improved dramatically. He told me he felt 20 years younger. His only change? Stopping the daily habit of excessive fluid intake that conventional medicine had actually encouraged. This story isn't unique. I've seen hundreds of senior men dramatically improve their urological function simply by implementing age-appropriate fluid protocols instead of following generic advice designed for younger men. So what is the correct approach? Let me break down the age-appropriate fluid protocol that actually works with your body instead of against it. Element number 1, adjust your total daily fluid intake. Total daily fluid intake should be 6 to 7 glasses, that's 48 to 56 ounces distributed strategically throughout the day, not the 8 to 10 glasses often recommended. This provides adequate hydration without overwhelming your aging urological system. Your body at 60 or 70 doesn't need the same volume a 30-year-old athlete needs. And that's okay. That's not weakness, that's wisdom about how your body works now. Element number 2, timing is absolutely critical. Here's where most men get it wrong. They drink water evenly throughout the day, including the evening. That's a recipe for nighttime disaster. Instead, consume 70% of your daily fluids before 3 p.m., with minimal intake after 6 p.m. This allows your body to process fluids during daytime hours when frequent urination is manageable, while minimizing nighttime production. Think of it like this: you're working with your body's natural rhythms instead of fighting against them. Element number 3, observe urine color for true hydration status. Light yellow indicates optimal hydration. Clear urine actually means overhydration. You're forcing your aging bladder and prostate to process unnecessary fluid volume. This is one of the biggest misconceptions out there. Clear urine isn't the goal. Light yellow is perfect. It means you're properly hydrated without overloading your system. Element number 4, account for fluid in foods. Fruits, vegetables, soups, they all contribute significant fluid. Many men drinking 8 glasses of water plus eating water-rich foods are actually consuming the equivalent of 12 to 14 glasses daily. Your body counts all of it, not just what you drink from a glass. So when you're calculating your intake, remember that watermelon, oranges, cucumbers, and that bowl of soup at lunch, they're all adding to your total. How do you know if excessive fluid intake is already causing problems? Here are the medical signs to watch for. Warning, sign 1. You're urinating more than 8 times during daytime hours. This indicates your bladder is being overworked and losing capacity. Normal for senior men is 5 to 7 times daily. Warning sign 2. You're waking more than once nightly to urinate. While one awakening can be normal after 60, multiple awakenings indicate your fluid intake timing needs immediate adjustment. Warning, sign 3. You experience urgency, sudden, strong urges to urinate that are difficult to control. This indicates bladder irritation from overwork and potential muscle dysfunction. Warning, sign 4. You feel like your bladder never fully empties. This suggests weakened bladder muscle from chronic overwork combined with prostate changes. If you're experiencing any of these signs, the good news is that most of this damage is reversible when caught early. If you're already experiencing symptoms, here's your action plan. Step 1. Implement the age-appropriate fluid protocol immediately. Most men see improvement in urinary frequency within 7 to 10 days. Your body responds quickly when you stop overwhelming it. Step 2. Add pelvic floor exercises. Yes, Kegel exercises work for men too. They strengthen the weakened bladder and urethral muscles, accelerating recovery from damage that's already been done. Don't skip this, it makes a significant difference. Step 3. Monitor your nighttime awakenings as your key metric. This should improve progressively over 4 to 6 weeks as your system recovers. Keep a simple log. You'll be amazed at the progress. Step 4. Work with your doctor to potentially reduce or eliminate urological medications once your symptoms improve. Many medications become unnecessary once the underlying behavior is corrected. Don't adjust medications on your own, work with your physician, but know that reduction or elimination is often possible. If you're over 60 and drinking 8 or more glasses of fluid daily, especially if you're experiencing frequent urination or nighttime bathroom trips, implement this age-appropriate protocol immediately. Track your nighttime awakenings for 2 weeks. This is your most reliable indicator of improvement. You'll see the difference, and that proof will motivate you to stick with it. The reality is that the drink more water advice dominating health media is potentially harmful for senior men with aging urological systems. Your body's needs at 70 are fundamentally different from what they were at 40, and there's no shame in that. It's just biology. The good news? Unlike many aspects of aging, urological function can often be dramatically improved simply by adjusting this single daily behavior. Most damage from excessive fluid intake is reversible when caught before permanent changes occur. Now, while correcting fluid intake is essential, recovery can be significantly accelerated with specific nutritional support that strengthens prostate tissue, improves bladder muscle tone, and optimizes kidney function during the healing process. I'm not here to sell you anything, but I do want to mention that certain natural compounds have solid research supporting their benefits for urological health in older men. Saw palmetto has been shown to support prostate health and reduce inflammation. Pygeum can improve urinary flow and bladder function. Pumpkin seed extract supports prostate health and urinary muscle tone. Nettle root helps with hormone balance and prostate protection. These aren't magic bullets, but they can support your recovery while you're implementing the proper fluid protocol. Think of them as allies in your healing process, not replacements for the fundamental behavioral changes. Listen, I know this might feel overwhelming. You've been told your whole life to drink more water. You've heard stay hydrated 1,000 times. And now I'm telling you that for men your age, more isn't better, strategic is better. But here's what I want you to understand. This isn't about deprivation. This isn't about making your life harder. This is about working with your body as it is now, not as it was 30 years ago. Your body has changed. That's not failure, that's life. And when you adjust your habits to match where your body is today, incredible things become possible. Better sleep, more energy, fewer medications, more dignity, more freedom. You don't have to accept constant bathroom trips as your new normal. You don't have to resign yourself to broken sleep and exhaustion. You don't have to believe that progressive decline is inevitable. Small changes, strategic changes, can restore what you thought was lost. If this information has given you hope or opened your eyes to something you didn't know, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. We're here every week with evidence-based strategies that actually work for men your age. Real solutions, not just band-aids. And please, share this video with a friend, a brother, a husband, a father who's struggling with these issues. Your simple act of sharing could give someone their first full night of sleep in years.